Yo, 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 yo. Ha! What'd I tell you, kid? What'd I tell you?
Going down. Thanks to everybody for subscribing, liking, and sharing. Those of you who have, and those of you who have not, if this is your first time, please get on it. We got a good day today, brother. Stay tuned.
Whoop, whoop.
Not gangbanging out here.
How's it going, man? I'm Mondo. I'm the one that works out to you. Nice to meet you, bro.
Everybody in the
How are you
house.
feeling today?
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, we got some tickets fixed already.
Brought a bunch from the legal.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we can put them up front.
Yeah. First headline of the show. First show since it's gonna be special. It's gonna be special. Please come through.
Yeah, we'll come through and we're giving away some tickets too. What do you do to your...
This? I don't know. I don't know.
Just trim it up,
Yeah.
wind it up nice.
Yeah, I trust you. Absolutely.
Well, want to get to it?
Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Real quick.
Yo, I'm with Man Saxon. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? What's up?
Yeah. How's the drive over here? Is there Broncos traffic?
Nah.
We gotta buy this thing.
Well, I was about to say, I don't think people fuck with the Broncos like that anymore. Like, damn. Yeah, now you gotta buy it.
Yeah, you got a Nuggets
Yeah.
instead of the Broncos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes when the Broncos
Are you a
are having a bad
Broncos fan?
season.
Oh, yeah, Denver, everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you watch that game the other day?
Nah.
Oh, we were at it. It was live.
Who was it?
We played the Sixers.
I'm a 76ers fan,
yeah.
and they're a Nuggets fan. So.
How you 76ers?
I just grew up in California, and I watched Allen Iverson play all the time.
All right, that's fair. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, and once you pick a side, you pick a side.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you stay, by?
For Denver, that's long, but in LA, that's like just to get 7 miles in LA is like 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a good time. Just
Has it been crazy busy since the show?
Yeah. Like annoyingly busy. Like
Yeah.
I need more people on the team type shit.
Yeah.
Cause like the main thing too in the beginning is like staying on top of the Instagram like comments and shit, so I can get on the front end and have like these people that are like, oh, I fuck with you, like I'm talking to them, you know, they're getting some sort of like interaction from the front end, but eventually I gotta stop because I gotta still make music and create and shit. But that alone is taking so much fucking time, so much time. Like 100-something thousand followers just off of the show alone in the last month. Can't keep up with that shit. Yeah, you can't keep up with it, bro. So,
Yeah. You know, one of the things that was cool about like reaching out to you though,
Yeah.
is that other people have reached out to you, whether it's their managers, and it's just cool to be able to reach the person, you know.
Yeah,
So
sure.
that was cool, and that was
man.
a good source of respect there.
Yeah, man. I've had managers in the past, and I still haven't found the right one. You just gotta be like a fit, you know?
Yeah.
Never found the right one, so until I really, really need it, I can just do it all myself, you know?
Yeah.
What you got? What got you started making music, my man?
E40. E40 got me started, like literally. So I had a brother who's 6 years older than me, and when you have someone like that old, like that age gap, you know, you think everything they do is cool, like everything. And she's like, oh, that's what's up. So whatever he listened to, I listened to. We listened to E40, and then I remember trying to impress him, so I would listen to all of E40's lyrics and I'd write them down. And like now that I'm like in this spot where like I'm considered a lyricist, like I get my introduction to the rap game came from like a dude who was really spitting shit, right? So you had to really listen to him. And having that introduction to it really made me like, appreciate lyricism way, way, way more. So that's how I started with E40. Yeah.
E40, yeah.
E40.
He's dope.
He's one of the best game. He's probably the best game spitter of all time.
Yeah.
Like what I take with that, whatever you want to say, but like just spitting game, like telling you like what's happening in the rap game, in fucking business, real estate, all that shit. E40 is just like, yeah, he's sauce. He's sauce personified. That's what I say. Dang for ever. He has probably over 40 albums. Like think about. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, I don't know if I have 40 verses. Like, you got 40 albums.
Hey, but you got a couple of things out. What is it, like 4 records?
Yeah, I got...
like 5 singles or something like that?
I got 3 albums or EPs right now. And even with that being said, like, yeah, I've made a shit ton of music. But I've only released... maybe 20 songs since my 10 years of rapping because I'm just really particular with what I'm trying to put out.
Content.
Yeah, as an artist too, you get what I give you, you know? So the audience always wants some new shit. And then every real artist, even with the chef, right? They feed you the food how they want you to eat it. Like, you about to get it how I give it to you, you know? So yeah, I'm lacking on the quantity of content, but the quality is there for sure.
So, have you ever thought about? I saw those freestyles that you have, like on that paddle boat, and where was the one with the train? Where's that at?
Yeah, that's
is that Tiny Town here?
Nah, that's in LA. That's at Griffith Park in LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Griffith Park is huge.
Yeah, it is. It's so
huge.
fucking big.
There's a lot of like. Is that when you talked about like being? Is that some of the places that you stayed?
So that's funny. Being homeless thing was like a transition for sure. Like you have to like ease your way into it. And I remember the first time, like the first night I slept in my car, I slept in the Hollywood Hills, right? And I was just like, oh, like, you know.
Might as well wake up to a good scene.
Yeah, you know, like there's big ass houses, like there's not a lot of people out here, it's Hollywood Hills. And I woke up and a parking attendant was just knocking on my window like, nigga, you can't sleep here. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, dog. Like, why did I think that would be the case? And then I went to the exact, like the other extreme. I started staying in Koreatown, which if y'all know Koreatown, it's like shit. Mm-hmm. And parking my car there, I like parked it for like a night or something, stayed at my homie's house, and I walked back to my car, and there was 3 used condoms in my car. Like 3 used.
You're like, I only needed one. I don't know
what y'all doing? Then a couple of times I got my car broken into, like while I was sleeping in my car in Koreatown. Like, yeah, it was all a transition. It was all like a really, really ridiculous transition, but I wouldn't trade that shit for anything.
Wait. So he broke into your car and you were sleeping in the car?
Multiple times. So this is...
Yeah, like you can't just skip over
that. So it was like the first couple of nights I was sleeping in Koreatown. Oh, ashy as hands. And so I fall asleep. My phone's like in the cigarette charger thingamajiggy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I put it in there, go sleeping in the back.
Spinning like that.
I wake up.
Yeah.
And my phone's gone. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? And I see this dude pushing a cart, like, right on the sidewalk, and I saw him the night before. I was like, okay, man, you know some shit. I go up to him, yo, dude, like, did you see anyone go in my car last night? Like, anybody? He's like, he started mumbling some shit. He's fucked up, like, crazy fucked up. No, dude, did you see anyone go in my car last night? And after, like, the 3rd time asking him, he was like, yeah, I stole it, sold it for drugs. I was like, oh, wait, what? What do you mean? Like, wait, sir, did you steal my phone? I just kept asking, did you steal my phone? Did you steal my phone? And if I'm lying, I'm dying. He sat down on the sidewalk and started writing in chalk, did you steal my phone? And then I looked down at the sidewalk and there was hundreds of messages that he had written. Like, just like some super, like, The Shining type shit.
Oh, he was crazy then.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is your turf. I'm out. Like, that's your phone now, man.
I paid with the phone.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah, that was one time when that happened. Another time, sleeping in the back of my car. That's how all these stories begin. Sleeping in the back of my car, and there was like a pickup truck behind me, right? But what woke me up was the sound of my car door closing, like, doof. So, oh, what the fuck? I'll look back, the pickup truck behind me. All right, you know, whatever. He drives away. I go back to sleep just because I'm tired and lazy. Like, I don't have time to be, like, investigating journalism. Like, who the fuck was that? Like, nah, I'm tired. I'm going back to sleep. Then I hear another doof. Oh, what the fuck was that? Look back up. It's the same pickup truck. Okay, shit. He drives away again. He or she, I don't know. I was like, fuck, I need to go. I need to get out of this spot. I drive like 4 or 5 blocks away. And I start patting my pockets and looking for my wallet. And I'm like, oh, like my wallet's gone. My wallet's missing. Then I started putting two and two together. Like, what was that second thump that I heard? Like when you pulled up the second time. Drive back to the spot. He threw my wallet back on my car because they saw I was homeless. They took all the money, but they left my ID. And that was the best. That was such a gift. That was so beautiful. I was like, thank you, you mean motherfucker.
I just lost my wallet recently, and they took all my shit.
Yeah, man. Every time I lose my wallet, I realize how stupid of an idea it is to have all this important shit in one spot.
He just lost his, and he was going through some stuff with
some
it.
base head shit. Like,
But that's crazy that you looked at it like that. That you saw it as a blessing that he gave you your wallet back with just your ID and took your money, because most people would have been like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
I mean, I treated that whole situation of being homeless like that. Like, it breeded some of the best music I ever made. It was like a rite of passage for me in a way. Like, you don't get that shit as a black man. You know, like Jewish people get like mitzvahs. Like, this is you are now a man, right? In Latino culture, you know, you got like quinceañeras and shit, like, right?
Not in my family, we broke as fuck.
All right, so for me, it was just kind of this like intentional rite of passage that I felt like I had to do, right? And it was one of the best times of my life. I wouldn't trade that shit for anything.
That's dope.
Absolutely not.
Humbly.
So I saw that interview. I mean, that speech you were giving.
TED Talk?
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty dope. You were talking about how, like, when you left college, you were playing lacrosse.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone kind of ventured out, traveled the world.
Yeah.
But you got to do the same thing from being just in LA in that year, because it's crazy. You went to Koreatown, Griffith Park, and you just get to see so much shit that you feel like you traveled the world.
Absolutely.
Through just a different lens, right?
And it's also like a very privileged thing to just be able to, like, you know, come travel the world, y'all. I got my passport and everything, and it's not necessarily that accessible for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna do this same thing, just my own way. It might not be the world, it might just be LA and a couple of parks that I'm circling through, but you know.
See more than me.
I mean, but when you're
out there.
But growing up here, like, leaving Denver is experiencing the world, right? Like, like you just see things you don't normally see, like
100%. I know so many people from Denver who are afraid to leave, or like never been on a plane type shit, you know. And I think we like underestimate how much Denver is the country. It's kind of like the fucking country. Like, it's not like it's not LA. It's not
big city. It's not small.
Yeah, it's not. It's some country motherfuckers here, and. Yeah, no, that's it. I'm not about to incriminate myself. That's it.
What schools did you go here?
I went to 3 different high schools. I went to TJ my freshman year. I went to Matchbuff my sophomore year, which is a Catholic high school.
Matchbuff?
Yeah.
Oh, my cousin went. How old are you?
1988, right?
Yeah, so I'm 31. Yeah.
80s baby.
Oh, you guys are probably there. She didn't graduate, but you guys are probably there.
I got kicked out pretty fast.
She's 1 year younger than me. I'm 30. No, she's your age.
Yeah. Well, maybe what's her name?
Perils?
Nah.
Mexican girl.
Because especially Catholic high school, there's a lot of Latino people. But
pineapple oranges.
What did you have her with?
No, it's just straight. Straight.
Yeah. Then I graduated from George Washington. Yeah.
You know where that's at? They're from here. I've just been here like 5 years in California.
Oh, so you from California?
Yeah, from San Bernardino.
Oh, okay. That's like IE, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to park your car there.
Yeah, no, I already know.
Pretty wild.
What happened?
San Bernardino, it's got like the second most impoverished county in second to Detroit, I think. It's pretty bad.
So they probably would have took your wallet and not threw it back at
Yeah,
you.
they would just have that shit.
Probably took the car with him in it.
Chop shop with me in there.
What did how was that teaching experience? Teaching rap?
That shit was super, super amazing. Just like, it taught me how to like collaborate with people, because that's a big thing with making music. Like, there's this notion that people think you can do it all on your own or whatever, but like, you look at any top 40 hip hop song, there's multiple writers on it, you know, so you got to know how to collaborate with people. And it also taught me like how many terrible rappers there are. Like, anybody can rap, right? Anybody can rhyme words together in a rhythmic pattern. Like, anybody can do that shit. Not everyone can do it well. Also, not everyone can write a song well. And I was learning that from being able to like, from hearing students who want to be rappers and having to tell them, nah, nigga, you should not be a rapper. Like, this is really bad.
Not a dream.
So is that how it is there? Like, if they don't have the talent, you just tell them?
Yeah. I mean, as a teacher, you think about it, like, as a teacher in math, right? If you get the answer wrong, nah, nigga, that's wrong. That's wrong, okay? So it's a little bit more subjective with art, but there's still certain guidelines and certain ways to do it to make it right. Like, I remember when I first started teaching there, it was like right when Lil Yachty was getting big. And all the students would be like, oh, fuck, Lil Yachty, like, oh man, he just sucked. But if you could make a hit song, you would have made a hit song by now, you know?
It was that easy.
Yeah, if it was that easy. So, yeah, that experience was a lot of, I don't know, avocado socks. That experience was a lot of appreciation for good music and understanding too that I'm able to, I should be where I'm supposed to be, right? There's a little bit of imposter syndrome with everyone, right? Like, even being on this show, it's like, oh no, I shouldn't be here. But getting that teaching job as a college professor, like, I remember my first day, I was like, this is Professor Kinsey. I was like, oh.
You're like, okay. Can I get a business card that says
so yeah, it definitely taught me that I'm supposed to be where I'm at, you know.
Yeah. What on your on the show you were on, Rhythm and Flow?
Yeah.
Your song that you did, you said Young This, Little That.
Yeah.
Is that from everyone's name was Young This, Little That?
Yeah, well, that's what Old Man Saxon comes from, is everyone being little this, young that. And I remember the day, Lil Bow Wow had to drop the little from his name. And I remember being like, damn, that's deflating. That must be like, here, your youth, you literally have to take your youth away because you're not little anymore.
Yeah.
And as Old Man Saxon, I can grow into my name. I can be 80 years old rapping, and that's just Old Man Saxon. But
well, Lil Sax was taken.
Lil Sax. Oh my God. Lil Sax. No one's taking that name. I don't think. But to answer your question about the audition song, the reason I did that song and that Little This Young That, same lines, we're in track, nigga. About this, one time, one fact, nigga. I'm just saying, y'all just saying the same. And I got my nose up like I'ma stay in the game.
Might
nobody cop when I drop it, my God. Can't nobody walk in my socks. That whole thing was to intro me as a character, Old Man Saxon. Like, nigga, I might not make a cent off of this, but, and nobody's about to do it like I do it. That was the whole point of that. It was almost like I was battling myself, like, on stage. Like, you know, there's a sense of this braggadocio culture with hip-hop that even in my TED Talk I talk about being vulnerable in hip-hop. That shit's been overdone. Like, I get it, you're a baller, like, I get it. But how many artists are, like, making fun of themselves? So that's why that was that song.
Yeah.
And if you can make fun of yourself, then it doesn't matter what anybody
Yeah,
else
exactly.
says, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, that was just the other one. Most of your music that you write is relatable. Like, it tells a story of things that you've been through and stuff like that. And that's the battle that they have right now with hip hop. That everything is, like you said, they're like, my Bentley's outside, and you're like, where is it? You're on the bus. Like, where are you going?
Well, I think when hip hop gets stagnant is when it is feeding off of itself, right? So just a quick little story. Grandmaster Flash. I know I immediately sound old when I say Grandmaster Flash. No, Grandmaster Flash. He used to do the turntable, but before him, no one on Earth did the crossfading thing, right? He invented the crossfader, and he used he used to be an electrician, so he used his outside influence, brought it to hip hop, and made it flourish. And that's how you get hip hop to evolve. Instead, when it gets stagnant is when hip hop keeps feeding off of hip hop, you know, and that's when it gets stagnant. I forgot what the question was, but I think I answered it.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It stays stuck in neutral.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will never evolve.
Yeah.
It's been stuck there for a while, right? I like J. Cole songs. I think a lot of his music's relatable. He talks about social issues and stuff like that. But I think most of it is like, I'm on this yacht with this many bitches and this and that.
And then when you think about like the statistic of like 1% of the world like encompasses like half of the world's wealth and shit. So there's another 99% of people who really would relate to you saying, yeah, I'm struggling right now. But we are targeting this 1% still for some reason. I don't know how it works though. It's been working.
Yeah,
It sells.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing is when I say it works, it sells. Which as a real artist, I'm not necessarily sure that's your barometer for success is.
Right.
You know?
Speaking of your influences, though, there's got to be something else because you don't rap like E40. I mean, I can get the metaphors and stuff like that, but your flow is.
He's got one or two like a little E40.
Midwest, East. I would say more Midwest than East Coast.
So that's interesting because being from Denver, you have our art scene doesn't necessarily have that solid of an identity. So for example, in high school, because we're kind of in the middle, not necessarily, but you know, we're in the middle, people got their influences from
California,
New York, California, Houston, everyone had like their own little thing. I grew up creatively in the Bay. So E40 is definitely a big influence, but also Mac Dre, X-Rated. What is that?
Too Short.
Too Short, yeah. Yeah, Too Short especially because Too Short like got his break by writing lyrics for gangsters. Like he's not. Well, it wasn't his music, or it was his music, but it wasn't his story. So he got his break.
Someone was paying him to say their story.
Yeah, and that was always really important to me too, to say like, oh, I can be this character. You know, it doesn't necessarily always have to relate directly to me. I can be this character. X-Rated, you know who X-Rated is? Yeah, he was in jail. He murdered somebody. He was in jail rapping over the phone.
Dropped a couple albums.
Yeah, amazing rapper. And the reason I bring him up is to relate to the Perils album when I wrote a whole album while I was homeless. And that's heavily influenced off of X-Rated, who was literally just in his environment rapping about jail while in jail. And that shit was always like super fascinating to me. Like, oh, like, because you're supposed to, with hip-hop, supposed to be as authentic as possible. And I could only imagine me being homeless and still trying to write shit about, you know.
Balling.
Yeah. So I really appreciated X-Rated too.
That Perils video has like almost 4 million views.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
That's one of my like crowning achievements, to write a song about being homeless and have people all over the world be like, oh, I relate to this. Even if you're not homeless or anything, just the
struggle.
The hook is, I can't wait to go home. Like, if you're at work, you can't wait to go home, you know?
Right.
So there was something about the should I stop?
No, go ahead.
There's something about the specificity to my story that was still really universal.
Right.
And that's like a special fucking feeling. Like, I was just writing a song for me.
Right.
But you're telling me line cooks appreciate it, other homeless people appreciate it, like everyone appreciates it because it's universal.
Right.
And yeah, I made that shit just for me. So yeah, I love that. That's my favorite song.
Well, you felt some type of way about putting that song out, right? Because you didn't want everybody to know, especially your family back home, that you were homeless.
No, but getting that many views solidifies what you were trying to do, right? Because it's like, someone's relating to this. It's not.
So it's not even necessarily the views as much as it is the comments, right? Because you can buy views, and fake or not, you can be like, oh, you know, I got a million views, I'm cool now. But it's the comments of people being like, oh, nigga, like I was about to kill myself, and then I heard your song. It's like, oh, like that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I felt less alone when I listened to your song. Like, that's the shit that you can't buy that shit. Yeah. So
That's the art, and that's why I try to tell people about the music that I listen to, because I'm a bit older and I'm still stuck on the golden era.
Yeah.
And like being relatable to the music now that's just, you know, talk. Like back then, songs were relatable and people used the art to get ahead.
Okay.
You know, and that's what got people like the Jay-Z's, the Fat Joes, and them famous, because even Redman, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these dudes grew up on the streets and people listened, and they were dope at it. It wasn't that it was their experience. You obviously have the gift of a lyricist, so that propels your story that much further.
Thank you. But and I'll just push back on the golden era for a second. The golden era of hip hop was golden because of its profit. Like there was a time when people was just making so much money off of rap that's really the reason it's the golden era. I would say to kind of
Is it because like you couldn't like now you could hear everyone's music for free?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
I mean, no one's making money just off of streaming. But I would also say that the modern hip hop gets a bad rap because of what's placed in the forefront, right?
That's something he's always said.
Yeah, but I would say music in general is the best it's ever been right now. You just have to find. It's harder for the audience. It's just way harder for the audience.
Because it's the music that's being thrown in front of you that you listen to the most.
I can make a song on my phone right now, and that.
Can you down?
I can make a song on my phone, put it on Spotify, and it could be most fire shit ever. But you have to find it. I guess I say all that to say I'm still trying to like. I'm going to back up hip hop in its current state now. Like the golden era was great, but I would say that was referencing the business aspect of it more than the actual art.
I saw your what is it? Don't shoot or stop shooting.
Yeah.
I saw that video and I don't know why the first thing that came to my mind was that Childish Gambino video. I just said it's the same thing, just with a lot less fun.
Yeah, no, I had someone say that actually in the comments, but
it just reminded me of it because you have like raw footage in there of like real shootings and it becomes real.
And that song was kind of a departure from what I usually make too, because I always had this like disgust for socially conscious music. Like, take with that what you want, but like the like, yo, we gotta fight for our freedom. That shit. It was always like, all right, man. Like, I get it, but it's not. Like, it gets annoying after a
I got a
while.
question for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess it's about opportunity. Being an artist myself, I have my, and I just want to bring up this. This is on Reverb Nation. I get a lot of like shits about being on the radio, concerts, and this and that. Like, what made this opportunity to be on Rhythm and Flow? Was that any different than any other opportunities that you would get? I would say like spam mail towards from.
Oh yeah.
Do you take advantage of other opportunities that you get from local outlets like that as well?
I think the reason why it's taken me so long to like get to this level, I've been rapping like as a profession for 10 years, right? And I'll get right back to what you're saying, but I think it's important for people to understand the process of this whole thing. We like to think like it's these overnight successes. Nah, even them, they've still been working really, really hard for a long time. But I say that to say, I'm really skeptical about all opportunities because I lived in LA. And there was so much like slime. It's like slime there. And as soon as you mix business with art, it usually fucks up the art, right? But I say that to say, when I got the Rhythm and Flow application, originally, so All right, backstory. So, before the application was released to the public, there were like a certain group of people who got the application probably like 3 months before. I was one of those people. D Smoke was one of those people. Like the people who were like really, really fucking good got the application before. And when we filled out the application, it literally said Untitled Hip Hop Show. And so I fill it out. And I'm like, all right, whatever, you know. And then a couple months later, Tip, Cardi, Chance, yo, we got this show, Rhythm and Flow, da da da. Click on the link for the application. It's the application I already filled out. So I say that to say, I say that a lot too. I say that to say, I say that to say, this show, unprecedented. Nothing of its kind has ever been made like this. So to get that opportunity, even there were some doubts in the beginning. Like when I went to the first audition, like before Snoop, we had to do another audition with like 4 producers in a hotel room, and we do that shit, and then there was a little bit of skepticism, like I don't know about that shit. But once we like got in like the whole production of it and experienced it, it was like, yeah, we would have been stupid as
But you had no idea what you were signing up for.
No, not at
That's
all.
crazy.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
Signed up
cool.
for Untitled Hip Hop Show. Like that's what it was called. So yeah, like.
Did those people give you like advice, like behind the scenes, like? 'Cause, I mean, they did, from what we get to see, like from watching the show.
So we didn't get to talk to the judges as much as people would like to think, right? It was like Cardi had her own trailer, Tip had his own trailer, Chance, they all had their own trailers. We only got to see them when we like did the challenges. And so if you didn't, I would assume that the people who got like deeper in the later rounds got to talk to the judges more. But for me, it was like, all right, you know, go rap. All right, hey, Tip, what's your criticism? And then we left. But the good thing about it was, when I lost the battle, I fly back to Denver, and while I'm on the plane, I get a call, and it's from Tip. And he's like, yo, man, like, I fuck with you. Like, let's make some music, da da da. So, yeah, it wasn't a thing where while we were performing, we were getting advice, but if the judges really fucked with you,
Right.
They hit you up.
yeah, they hit you up.
You didn't win the thing, but you won.
Yeah,
I mean,
nah.
he's
that's-
hitting you up to do music.
I remember when I lost the battle, they take you into this room. It's just a big white room with all the other fucking losers, because we're a bunch of fucking losers. Right? So we're sitting there, and the producers are also like, be quiet, don't talk. Like, it's like a weird ass TV show, like just sit in this room and don't talk. And I'm sitting there and I'm scanning all the faces in the room, and I see like shit like just depleted, like just like fuck, like man, I don't know. But I knew what this shit would be. Like I had an idea, like, nah man, if I go in there and I do what I gotta do, we all won. We
Right,
all won
right.
as long as you just did your best.
Right.
So yeah, nah, we all definitely
I mean,
won.
everybody still got exposed, right?
Oh yeah.
But it depends on how good you did, you know,
Oh, yeah.
how far you'll go.
Yeah. Even,
I don't think that's true.
What?
Remember, we talked about this before. And I can edit whatever you want out, but this is just real. Like, I talked to you guys before we knew it was coming about the setup of that rap battle. I didn't like the way it was, and I have it recorded.
Yeah,
Where it was
good
like-
people had to go against each other.
Because it was,
Yeah.
it wasn't a structured. It was like, I want to see you battle you, and there was a lot of rap battles where 2 people who weren't good got to go on just because they had to pick one of the
Alright.
best of the 2 that
So,
don't.
The backstory behind the battle.